I am going to make a drawing after a painting by Valentin de Boulogne, David with the head of Goliath from 1615, 1616. And Valentin de Boulogne was a painter who followed Caravaggio. Caravaggio was a great painter at the start of the 17th century, and this is a follower of his style more or less. And here we see a detail, and I'm going to make a drawing of the head. I'm using grayish paper, pastel paper I believe. I will put some information below this video in the description. And I'm starting with the eye. I have a certain black chalk, I think. I will put this also in the description, what kind of materials I use. So I'm using a black sort of pencil and a white sort of pencil. And with the white I can add heightenings, and with the black I can put shadows on the paper. And I use the color of the paper as a mid-tone. So when you make a drawing like this on such paper, it's more like painting almost. You can use the color of what you're working on as an important part of your drawing. And I'm trying to define the face, and there's a very great stark light dark contrast. On the right you see lots of shadows, it's very dark. And that was the style of the people who followed Caravaggio in the 17th century. I'm adding the shadows now. Try to determine where the eye must be. I'm not really hatching, but the structure of the paper invites to make it more solid, what I'm actually drawing. I'm trying to determine the outlines of the face. The guy looks a little bit like Robert Downey Jr., I thought. Something in his expression reminded me of Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, the nose. Trying to define the nostrils. There's quite a lot of shadow there, so lots to draw with a pencil like this. Now the mouth. Usually I use the same order in which I draw the eyes and the nose and the mouth. First the eyes, then the nose, then the mouth. That's usually what I do. And gradually the outline as well. Here the chin. And that whole area must be quite dark, so you can keep on adding darks. I made a little mistake with the outline on the left side. I think I made his head a little bit too broad in the beginning, adding that ear. One has to carefully watch how high the ear must be. There's this frown he has. I'm experimenting a little bit with the format of the video. I printed the photograph and I taped it on the table with this colored paper. So let me know what you think. I'm curious to know how you use these videos. So do you draw along with them? Is this convenient for you? Just let me know in the comments. And adding more shadow even. A little bit of his neck. I thought I was measuring a little bit, but I'm doing something else, I see. Adding a suggestion of hair, but not too much. It's mainly the face that I'm drawing here. And also adding some dark areas from the background. It gives it a little more atmosphere, but in this case the face is so large on the paper that there's not really much of a composition besides just the face. So I think I'll try to add more of the surroundings to future drawings. This is too much focused on the face alone, I think. And to be honest, I don't think it's one of my strongest drawings. He doesn't really capture. It doesn't really capture the face of the guy on the right, I think. But I was experimenting a little bit, so it's a spontaneous drawing as well. And I thought I can post it just as well. The corner of the mouth and the lips a little bit, accentuations here and there. At first you need to get the structure right, the main structure, and then you can add accentuations to give it more subtle expression. And I actually like this technique, but I don't know, maybe I keep it more with the dark on white regular drawings, but it's fun to do something like this as well sometimes. When you start to paint, it can be helpful to make these kind of drawings to get used to using a tinted or colored ground, because it's very different from working on a white ground. So that can be very helpful to get some experience in that respect. Some details of the ear. I like a good ear. A well-drawn ear is an achievement in itself. I mean, most people focus on the eyes, but I think ears are quite difficult. Just like hands, for example. And as you can see, it's still too broad. I'm adjusting it now. Gets a little bit closer to the example. And now I'm starting with the white pencil or white chalk. I'm not sure what it is. I should look up what I'm actually using, but it works. The problem with this one is that I could only add white to areas where I did not use any of the black pencil, because any area which was already worked upon with the black pencil, it just wouldn't take this white pencil. So that's something to remember when you are combining, let's say, a dark chalk on a tinted ground with paint, and you make it this mixed media work piece, then it's different. But in this case, I could not mix this white pencil really with black, or it gets very smudgy and it mixes with each other, and I don't want that either. I don't like that smudginess that you get when two soft pencils, in this case, go through each other. I really don't like drawings in which is being smudged with fingers or so. That's not my style. But here I'm trying a little bit even to correct some things. So as you speak about it, I see that I do. I tried it myself a little bit to adjust my drawing, use my fingers. So while I was talking about how I hate that, I'm doing it myself. Well, that's my inconsistent approach. Don't listen to me for advice. And here I'm trying to add some accentuations with the white, but it's a problem that everything is almost worked upon with the black pencil. So I'm trying to focus on using the white for areas in which it is possible to use that. Adding some whiteness here and there. I really like the way that you can work with lighting in this technique, in which you can light things up with the white pencil. nose here. Neck a little bit, shoulder, between the neck and shoulder, that area here. Now the face. Trying to get the expression a little more like the frown that he has. Adjusting the form of the eye a bit. I saw that I made a darker area a bit too broad. Now I'm using the black pencil again, and I can use the black pencil over the white pencil, but not the other way around. I cannot use the white pencil over the black pencil. So I found it out during this drawing that is the case. So it's good to know your materials, what you can do with them. So it's good to experiment a little bit with that. I'm adjusting the form of his face a bit even more. Adding some really dark black accentuations. But I made a little mistake now. It's not looking right at the jaw. It's not really the same form. Accentuating the eye, and I made that area at the height of the ear a bit too dark and too close to the eye, I think, but I could not correct it with the white pencil. So, well, it's not perfect, but it was a fun drawing to make, and it was a while ago that I used this technique. Adding some accentuations here and there. And this is approaching a point that I try to correct the drawing, I try to improve it, but it's not really improving anymore. Actually, I think it was better a few minutes ago. But that's what can happen, that you work a little bit too long on a drawing trying to correct it or so, and I think the eye on the left looked better a few minutes back. So you could check the video perhaps to see for yourself what you prefer, but this is a phase in the drawing that I go on too long a little bit, I think. But maybe it's educational. Sometimes you need 3 people to finish a drawing. 1 to make the drawing and 2 to stop him of going on for too long. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and maybe it's something to try, this technique. The color of the paper looks very different here, but that's the difference sometimes between filming it and scanning it. Thank you for your attention. By the way, the scanned version is very close to the realistic drawing. I mean the real drawing. Thank you.